Good evening and welcome back to another episode of The Longing, where today we are going to be continuing to read Homer's Iliad. So, let's get going, shall we? Thus while he spoke, the Queen of Heaven enraged, and Queen of War in close consult engaged. Apart they sit, their deep designs employ, and mediate the future woes of Troy. Though secret anger swelled Minerva's breast, the prudent goddess yet her wrath suppressed. But Juno, impotent of passion, broke her sullen silence, and with fury spoke. The Council of the Gods. Shall then, O tyrant of the ethereal reign, my schemes, my labours, and my hopes be vain? Have I for this shook Ilion with alarms, assembled nations, set two worlds in arms? To spread the war I flew from shore to shore, the immortal coursers scarce the labour bore. At length ripe vengeance o'er their heads impends, but Jove himself the faithless race defends. Loth as thou art to punish lawless lust, not all the gods are partial and unjust. The sire whose thunder shakes the cloudy skies sighs from his inmost soul and thus replies: O lasting rancour, O insatiate hate, to Phrygia's monarch and the Phrygian state! What high offence has fired the wife of Jove? Can wretched mortals harm the powers above? That Troy and Troy's whole race thou wouldst confound, and yon fair structures level with the ground. Haste, leave the skies, fulfil thy stern desire, burst all her gates, and wrap her walls in fire. Let Priam bleed, if you yet thirst for more. Bleed all his sons, and Ilion float with gore. To boundless vengeance the wide realm be given, till vast destruction glut the Queen of Heaven. So let it be, and Jove his peace enjoy. 126. When heaven no longer hears the name of Troy. But should this arm prepare to wreak our hate on thy loved realms, whose guilt demands their fate, presume not thou the lifted bolt to stay. Remember Troy, and give the vengeance way. For now of all the numerous towns that rise beneath the rolling sun and starry skies, which gods have raised or earth-born men enjoy, nor stands so dear to Jove as sacred Troy. No mortals merit more distinguished grace than godlike Priam, or than Priam's race. Still to our name their hecatombs expire, and altars blaze with unextinguished fire. At this the goddess rolled her radiant eyes, then on the thunderer fixed them, and replies: 3 towns are Juno's on the Grecian plains, more dear than all the extended earth contains. Mycenae, Argos, and the Spartan wall. 127. These thou mayst raise, nor I forbid their fall. Oh, I see. Right. 'Tis not in me the vengeance to remove, the crime sufficient that they share my love. Of power superior why should I complain? Resent I may, but must resent in vain. Yet some distinction Juno might require, sprung with thyself from one celestial sire, a goddess born to share the realms above, and styled the consort of the thundering Jove. Nor thou a wife and sister's right deny. 128. Let both consent, and both by terms comply. So shall the gods our joint decrees obey, and heaven shall act as we direct the way. See, ready Pallas waits thy high commands, to raise in arms the Greek and Phrygian bands. Their sudden friendship by her arts may cease, and the proud Trojans first infringe the peace. The sire of men and monarch of the sky the advice approved, and bade Minerva fly. Dissolve the league and all her arts employ, to make the breach the faithless act of Troy. Fired with the charge, she headlong urged her flight, and shot like lightning from Olympus's height, as the red comet from Saturnus sent, to fright the nations with a dire portent, a fatal sign to armies on the plain, or trembling sailors on the wintry main. With sweeping glories glides along in air, and shakes the sparkles from its blazing hair. 129. Between both armies thus in open sight shot the bright goddess in a trail of light. With eyes erect the gazing hosts admire the power descending and the heavens on fire. The gods, they cried, the gods this signal sent, and fate now labours with some vast event. Jove seals the league, or bloodier scenes prepares, Jove the great arbiter of peace and wars. They said, while Pallas through the Trojan thong, in shape immortal, passed disguised along. Like bold Laodocus her course she bent, who from Antenor traced his high descent. Amidst the ranks Lycaon's son she found, the warlike Pandarus, for strength renowned, whose squadrons led from black Cepus's flood. 130. With flaming shields in martial circles stood. To him the goddess, Phrygian, canst thou hear a well-timed counsel with a willing ear? What praise were thine, couldst thou direct thy dart amidst his triumph to the Spartan's heart? What gifts from Troy, from Paris wouldst thou gain? Thy country's foe, the Grecian's glory slain. Then seize the occasion, dare the mighty deed, aim at his breast, and may that aim succeed. But first to speed the shaft address thy vow to Lycian Phoebus with the silver bow, and swear the firstlings of thy flock to pay on Zelia's altars to the god of day. 131. He heard, and madly at the motion pleased, his polished bow with hasty rashness seized. 'Twas formed of horn and smoothed with artful toil, a mountain goat resigned the shining spoil, who pierced long since beneath his arrows bled, the stately quarry on the cliffs lay dead. And 16 palms his brow's large honours spread, the workmen joined and shaped the bended horns, and beaten gold each taper point adorns. This by the Greeks unseen the warrior bends, screened by the shields of his surrounding friends. There mediates the mark, and crouching low, fits the sharp arrow to the well-strung bow. One from 100 feathered deaths he chose, fated to wound and cause of future woes. Then offers vows with hecatombs to crown Apollo's altars in his native town. Now with full force the yielding horn he bends, drawn to an arch he joins the doubling ends. Close to his breast he strains the nerve below, till the barbed points approach the circling bow. The impatient weapon whizzes on the wing, sounds the tough horn, and twangs the quivering string. But thee, Atrides, in that dangerous hour, the gods forget not, nor thy guardian power. Pallas assists, and weakened in its force, diverts the weapon from its destined course. So from her babe, when slumber seals his eye, the watchful mother wafts the envenomed fly, just where his belt with golden buckles joined, where linen folds the double corselet lined. She turned the shaft, which hissing from above, past the broad belt, and through the corselet drove. The folds it pierced, the plaited linen tore, and raised the skin, and drew the purple gore. As when some stately trappings are decreed to grace a monarch on his bounding steed, a nymph in Caria or Maeonia bred stains the pure ivory with a lively red. With equal lustre various colours vie, the shining whiteness and the Tyrian die. So great Atrides showed thy sacred blood, as down thy snowy thigh distilled the streaming flood. With horror seized the king of men descried the shaft infixed, and saw the gushing tide. Nor less the Spartan feared before he found the shining barb appear above the wound. Then with a sigh that heaved his manly breast, the royal brother thus his grief expressed, and grasped his hand while all the Greeks around with answering sighs returned the plaintive sound. And with that we come to the end of the episode. So I will say thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon or night. No matter what time of day it is, I hope you all have a wonderful one of it. And as always, we will be back tomorrow for more of The Longing. Goodbye.